Good evening and welcome to the broadcast of the Enid City Commission meeting. Broadcasting live in high definition from the council chambers at the City Administration Building located at 401 West Owen K. Garriott. Please stay tuned as Mayor Bill Shuey presides over the meeting.
Let's call the meeting to order. The invocation this evening will be given by Damon Burpo with the World Harvest Church. Colonel Cunningham, would you lead us in the flag salute afterwards?
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that we can gather together here as citizens of this great city. Lord, we are so grateful and thankful to live here. We're grateful for the freedom, and we're grateful for these people that have chosen, Lord, to serve on our behalf. Pray that you just grace them with clarity of thought, clarity of purpose, clarity of focus, that they may make decisions that are for this good of this great city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4, consider approval of minutes of the special commission meeting of May 4, 2016, and the special meeting of May 11, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ron,
Second.
second by Ben. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Under item 5, awards, presentations, proclamations, and organizational business. Item 5.1, present the pet available for adoption at the city animal shelter.
There we go. Hey. Look at that tape.
Everybody get in line.
Good evening. My name is Officer Jared Free with Enid Animal Control. And with me, I have a 2-year-old Lhasa Apso who loves people. I'm sure he would love kids. And he's pretty laid back, honestly. But he came into the shelter as a stray. We picked him up. And his available date will be on the 9th. Keep in mind, we do have other animals in case something happens. If you want Lhasa Apso, Max, you want him, and somebody comes in and they actually adopt, and we do have more animals as well. So pass the word, we do adopt. Okay, that's what our main priority right now is to adopt, and that's what our main priority needs to be. So spread the word, let everybody know about adoption, and definitely if they want a dog, come get a dog or a cat. Sometimes we may get a ferret. So if somebody wants a ferret, tell them check with us, see if we have one, okay? Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Tails.
That's pretty funny.
Item 5.2, consider appointments to the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, Enid Joint Recreation Triad, Advanced Development Authority.
All right, Mayor and Commissioners, we need you to make appointments tonight to 3 boards. The first one is Metropolitan Area Planning Commission. There's 1 vacancy to be filled by a resident of the city due to a resignation, and there's 2 applicants, John Arend and Merla Powell. Is John Arend or Merla Powell here?
John is unavailable this evening. He had a family obligation and wanted me to mention to the commission that he wanted to be here, but had to be with his toddler.
Is Myra Powell here? It doesn't look like either applicants are here, and I think you have the ballots in front of you.
Vote for one. We'll go to the second one.
All right, Mayor and Commissioners, the Enid Joint Recreation Triad. We've also had another resignation on that board, and we have 2 applicants for you, Laren Davis and Marlon Giles. Is Laren Davis or Marlon Giles here to address the commission? It doesn't look like either one of them are here, so please vote for one.
Let's go to the third one.
Okay, the Advanced Development Authority, there's also 1 vacancy to be filled here. The agenda, at the time of the agenda, there were 3 applicants, but Ms. Ballard has withdrawn, so you have 2 applicants for that 1 position on VDA right now. That's Marlon Giles and Edward Herman. Is Edward Herman here tonight? It doesn't look like any of them are here. Please vote for 1.
This is the third one, this is the second one. It's for the, I'm sorry. This is EJ.
There's also a takeout menu in one of those, just for...
Lawrence Clark, are you here? What item do you wish to speak on? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you did.
Is that on public comment, sir, or do you have a specific item?
Well, I got $48 for a building permit, and I got 4 people trying to stop me on a certain property.
That'll be under public comments. That will be under public comments. And that will be item number, probably 17. Nope. Item number 20.
The mayor will call you up at the end of the meeting under public comments, sir.
Okay. We'll go on to 6.1 and then come back when she has both of them tabulated. As soon as I get there. Item 6.1, hearings. Under hearings, item 6.1, conduct a hearing to rezone property described as the east half of the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter, section 9, township 22 north, range 7 west of the Indian Meridian, Garfield County, Oklahoma, located at 5810 West Owen K. Garrett Road, from Agriculture District to C2 Planned Business Center District.
Thank you, Mayor, City
Chris.
Commission, City Management. This is property immediately adjacent to the Atwoods Distribution Center and their retail store at Garland and Garriott. The site being considered for hearing this evening is outlined in a yellow box. It currently is zoned agricultural. Atwoods is seeking C2 zoning to match their current zoning on their corporate office. If approved, they will submit a site plan. I have turned the direction here on you, and if I can unclip this. This right here is Garriott Road. Atwoods retail store is right here. What they're proposing is an A-cell, D-cell lane for trucks that come in overnight, have an opportunity to stage here in storage, and then when Atwoods is ready to receive the trucks, gates will be opened here and they will come into this staging area to deliver their product. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Item 7. We'll do these first.
Announce the results for 5.2.
Under item 5.2, the results. The Metropolitan Area Planning Commission person will be John Aaron. And the Enid Joint Recreation Triad will be Lauren Davis. And the Vance Development Authority person will be Edward Herman. And I have to read the votes. The Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, all 6 voted for John Aaron. The Enid Joint Triad Board, voting for Lauren Davis, Ron Jansen, Aaron Brownlee, Benny Zell, Rodney Tim, Bill Shuey. For Marilyn Giles, Tammy Wilson. Voting for the Vance Development Authority, all 6 voted for Edward Herman.
One is
7.1. Under item 7.1, Community Development. Consider a resolution in support of Excel Development Group in obtaining financing through the Oklahoma Housing Financing Agent to develop a 36-unit multifamily housing development in the 700 block of East Oklahoma. Chris.
Thank you, Mayor, City Commissioners. This is a resolution that will facilitate the developer Excel Development with providing an application to OFLA, and we hope that that results in an approval. And if so, this project will bring affordable housing to families within Enid. This is Jennifer McCabe here representing the developer, and she'd like to present to you.
I am here this evening to request a resolution of support. This resolution doesn't make any promises from the city, nor does it guarantee any award of funds. This is just part of the application process. It simply states that you are aware that I will be making application and that you support me making such an application.
Move to approve that said resolution.
Second.
Motion by Ben, second by Aaron. Further comments? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Item 7.2, consider an ordinance to rezone property described as the east half of the southwest corner of the southeast quarter of Section 9, Township 22 North, Range 7 West of the Indian Meridian, Garfield County, Oklahoma, located at 5810 West Owen K. Garriott Road, from Agriculture District to C2 Planned Business Center District.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Aaron, second by Rodney. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 7.3, consider a sidewalk variance for Jim and Marlene Gelsthorpe, located at 1626 Mason Drive, described as Lot 5, Block 14, Skyview Estates.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chris, and we do have a couple signed up to speak on that.
Okay. The lot in question that's applying for the variance is shown in the graphic in front of you, yellow. The orange line represents the new subdivision. You've gone through several variations of your sidewalk ordinance over the past several years. Currently, your ordinance says new developments are required to build sidewalks, and that is the case. And what my code office did on this particular example. I want to show you a couple of things on this graphic. Right here, we have two homes within the boundaries of the orange subdivision, and the blue line represents that they built their sidewalks. This is the third home that's under construction, and I've got a couple of pictures to show you. This is looking at the site under construction. This is looking at the site the other direction, and then I got pictures of the two properties that built sidewalks in the area. We also have prepared another presentation that Angela Rasmussen will present how she has enforced the various ordinances throughout the community.
Dana, can you go back to the aerial view, please, of that area?
Can you bring mine back up, Dana? Thank you. Right, whoops. There it is.
There. There's a bottom in the, or the house in the bottom part of that section. There's no sidewalk there, is that correct?
Yeah, but that is still under construction.
It
hasn't
is.
been finished. Usually the sidewalk is the last thing that's built.
Have they applied for a variance?
No, sir. You're welcome.
We have some additional information that may help in making your decision. On this slide, we just have some definitions by which we use, so if we need to go back to that, we can. This is an overview of Skyview Estates. Most of that subdivision has been completed, but this area where the Gelsthorpe's property is the last plat. It was platted in 2013. At that time, we had a sidewalk ordinance that required any new platted areas of a subdivision to contain sidewalks. So the improvement plans that were submitted to our engineering department reflected sidewalks. When the code department started receiving permits for this particular section, we were under not the current version, but the version of the sidewalk ordinance that was passed in December 2014. So it would require sidewalks at that house, which was the first one we permitted, and then the second one. Both of those have completed their sidewalks. There's a house under construction here, and our understanding is they are planning on doing their sidewalk as well. And we just permitted this third one right here last week. Mr. Simrad is doing those three houses, and my understanding is he's not going to seek a variance for those. This house down here is done by Clark Edwards, who is the developer who did the house there. And so I believe that he will not be seeking a variance either. At the Planning Commission meeting, I know Mrs. Gelsthorpe brought up several properties and that we had permitted where we were not going to require sidewalks. So I want to cover those. I know she's here to speak, and so a question may come up about those. 2001 Mount Vernon, we did permit that about 4 months ago. But it was permitted under our new ordinance where we have the infill definition. So when we looked at this was under an old plat that was done in 2009. There are no other sidewalks here at all. And so we called this infill, so a sidewalk is not required on that particular property. The same is true of another lot there in Skyview Estates that was the last lot. This is right here. That plat was done in 1998, but they just had a remainder lot there. And I think there's one right up over there. We're calling that an infill lot, and so sidewalk is not required there either. In the Willow West Fourth Edition, we had two variances that the developer was going to be requesting prior to the passage of the new sidewalk ordinance in March of this year. Because we added that definition of infill development, and we could call them infill because there's no other sidewalks in that area, they withdrew their variance request. Here is another new plat that's exactly the same as the situation for the last plat in Skyview Estates. This is Wilderness Cove. Most of it's developed. But this last plat required sidewalks. And this developer will be doing sidewalks on those 20 lots. I added this slide because I thought it was important. Clark Edwards actually came in and requested a variance from this commission, and it was granted under the old ordinance, because this would have been a situation where we now can call it infill, but at that time we didn't have that. So we were requiring that he did his sidewalk, so he sought relief here at the commission and his variance was granted. He did not, however, seek a variance from this commission for this lot or for this one. So I think even the developer viewed this one differently than where we have a lot here and a lot here without a, with the
That's
sidewalk.
not considered infill when it's an empty
It's a new plat.
development.
It was a new plat that, with this particular plat, a sidewalk was required from the get-go.
New plat required sidewalks in all of the undeveloped lots at the time that it was approved, correct?
Correct. Correct. As did our ordinance. So when this came in, we said, new plat, new development, new building permit, all the boxes checked off. We just couldn't find a way to call this infill. He's already, you know, we've got a sidewalk here, we've got one there. So that's how we came to our decision.
I have a question. I don't know if Chris or Andy answer this, but is this still going to be called Skyview?
It is.
Okay. I think, and maybe I was the only one that voted to make this more simple, but this is not a new addition. It's adding to this addition, just like the Gene Anderson deal, that'll all be sidewalks. It's a brand-new addition. Be called something. This is Skyview. All them other ones you read off have a name of that certain area. And just so because they're finishing it up, I don't see how we can determine them, split them in two.
From a staff standpoint, it's strictly based off of how we read our ordinance and what was required at the time this was platted.
But we didn't write it up right, because this is supposed to stop all this variance stuff. And we're right back to where we started, because every time someone's gonna build in there, they're gonna come in for a variance again. This is not a new subdivision.
Well, but Rodney, that's not entirely the case. I mean, there have been several other houses on this new plat where they aren't requesting a variance. They just built the sidewalk.
Well, if I was building this new house, I'd want a sidewalk. But I'm saying this is Skyview Estates.
Except that
It's existing.
I think from the perspective of having a new plat, I mean, a platted development is a new development, and call it what you want for the sake of marketing, but these are newly platted lots and blocks.
Well, like I said, I think the whole thing would look nicer sidewalk. But I don't think it comes under the new ordinance that we changed this last year.
I can give you just a little additional information very quickly. Staff, with the way that the ordinance reads, if there's another sidewalk in that area, then we have to require it. And this house built by Mr. Edwards was permitted in June of 2015. And at that time, they must do a sidewalk. So he went ahead and did a sidewalk. So when we permitted everything This one, I believe, was done in June. Let me look real quick. June and then July. So we had this in June, this in July. At the time, sidewalks were required. So those two, it was required. Mr. Edwards did his. I think Mr. Simrad did his before they came in and requested a variance. That's why we had to enforce that particular part of the ordinance.
Yeah, and let me just say quickly, Commissioner Tim, we have been tried to be very sensitive to this because we've looked at the definition. I've looked at it. I know the city attorney has as well. I don't see how we can interpret this any other way. If we want to, though, we can change the ordinance to clearly say it'd have to be an entirely new subdivision to do that, but that's not the change that got into the ordinance. And so that's what brought us here today, so.
Is that a new subdivision?
No.
A partial?
A new plat legally is considered new, like a new development. Each plat, even if it's adding on to an old one, is considered brand-new neighborhood. Because we're using neighborhood and not just the entire subdivision name, which is Skyview Estates.
That is the way I understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, every new plat is gonna be a new neighborhood, every single one. Now, if the developers want, they can plat the entire thing all at one time. And occasionally that happens, but usually it doesn't. Usually they plat in pieces. They, sell some homes, move forward, sell some homes.
With the new ordinance, this is the first sidewalk variance that I can remember coming to the commission in some time. Do you have the statistics on how many we've had since the revision?
I do. When you passed the new sidewalk ordinance, it took care of 6 pending variance requests. You denied a sidewalk variance for Merlin Nightingale. You approved one for Curtright Honda, and you denied one for Iron Works under your current one.
Those are commercial
Yes.
businesses, not residential.
This is the first residential variance you're hearing under your latest ordinance.
This one works, the commercial doesn't,
Okay.
which is great.
Rodney, I think I might probably disagree with you on this, and Mr. and Mrs. Gelstorp, I've known you forever, so I'm sorry, but this is an awful nice neighborhood. You've got 15 lots that are right here together. We've had a lot of opposition to the sidewalks, but mostly because you had one or two, mostly, that would not connect to anything else. And this one, there's a pretty good stretch of road there that I think you're connecting several houses. I think it would look awfully nice, and especially considering the amount of walkers on that road. You've got a curve there, and I would imagine people probably drive too fast occasionally. I think it would be good to have some sidewalks in there. So I know that Mrs. Gelstorp, you're probably planning to speak.
Yes, both of them.
At this point, I'm going to make a motion to deny the variance and
Second.
go ahead and speak.
Motion is second. Need your name and address, please, and speak into the microphone.
Yes. I am Marlene Gelstorp. I live at 1525 Sunrise Drive presently. We are building a house at 1626 Mason Drive. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a retired school teacher. I taught at Enid High School for 30 years. I currently work with my husband, who is the Director of Transportation for the Enid schools. We maintain all the activity trips and the routing for the Enid schools. And before I go any further, I want to say happy anniversary. It's our 31st anniversary today.
Maybe I should change my motion.
I know he wanted to be on the sidewalk for dinner tonight instead of here discussing sidewalks, but you took me for better or worse, so here we go. I can't do a presentation because I don't have access to your equipment, but I have some handouts. Can I give those out? Sure. Okay.
School teacher.
I'm a school teacher.
While we're circulating those, your house is beautiful. You guys are really doing a nice job.
I'm sorry?
Your house is beautiful. I drove by it this afternoon.
Isn't it? Thank you. Okay, I'm here today because I've always believed if you don't like something, don't just sit and complain about it, do something about it. My husband reminded me the last time I did that, I wound up being the head negotiator for the Enid Public School teachers for 15 years. I'm here to speak not just for myself, but for the other 10 to 12 houses there. Mr. Slater has the house furthest south on Mason Drive. He is opposed to the sidewalks. He could not be here tonight because his son had a baseball game at 6 o'clock and he's one of the coaches. Please feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. Okay, the top page is my version of the map that is up there. The last 4 houses on Mount Vernon, she is correct. Mr. Larry Simrod, who is also my builder, built that house, and he did put a sidewalk in. He is opposed to the sidewalk, but because he is a builder that works with the city on a regular basis, he didn't feel comfortable asking for a variance and trying to fight it. He told me the other day that if variances were granted for that area, even though he spent $3,500 putting it in, he's gonna tear it out. And his last comment to me about the sidewalk was, I hope the next time I see it, it's in the dumpster. It backs up to nowhere. It goes dead ends in the neighbor's yard, and there's a picture of that. I took a picture of it, and it's in there somewhere. The house next to the house that already has a sidewalk is his also. It will have a sidewalk to the wheat field. Rodney, I bet you'd like to have some sidewalks leading to your wheat field. The one next to Mr., the other builder? No, the other builder.
Clark.
Edwards? Clark Edwards, his will dead end to the wheat field. I talked to Mr. Edwards and I said, how do you feel about this? Would you be interested? He said, I don't think you have a chance, but I think you should go for it because they'll see what a stupid ordinance it is. That was just what he told me. But again, they're builders. They're gonna pass the cost on to the customer who buys the house, and they don't wanna fight you guys. I have nothing to lose. When we first decided to build the house, we compared areas. And again, you can draw a nice little yellow box around that, but it's not a new subdivision. There are gonna be 5 houses on one side of the street, I think 4 on the other side, and then there's the 4 that go to the wheat field. I was an avid runner for many years. I probably have put 35,000 miles in the city of Enid on our streets. I can promise you, if I'm in a neighborhood and I see 1 block of sidewalks, I'm not gonna jump up on that sidewalk, walk that 1 block, dead end into someone's neighborhood, and then get back off. It's not gonna be used. If it was a complete subdivision, it would be different. But it's 5 houses here, 2 houses on each side there, and possibly 4 on the other side. I don't see the purpose in spending $100,000 between all of us to have a sidewalk that people are not gonna use. We have to make decisions when we build our house, what can we afford, just like the city has to. Why do I wanna spend $5,000 on a sidewalk that I'm not gonna use, that I'm gonna have to edge around for the rest of my life? It just doesn't make sense to me. We drew the little blue box and said that's a new plat. Again, my husband and I are in charge of the buses. That area belongs to Prairie View, to the edge of where Slater's house is, and then everything else behind that to the south is Glenwood. What if we, in creating the routes, and I think the very last page I gave you is a picture I took from the routing program we use. And what we do is we lasso areas to either a bus stop or to a walk zone. What if we, for the Enid Public Schools Transportation Department, drew a little box around those 10 houses and said, well, that's gonna be a walk zone. The rest of you can ride a bus, but that's different. I can imagine the conversation. How do you think this would go if we did this in the same way that the city's doing it? Transportation, this is Marlene, how can I help you? Skyview Estates, oh, that's in the Prairie View and the Waller districts. Well, Prairie View is a walk zone, but there is a bus to Waller, and it picks up at Mount Vernon and Skyview Circle. What's your address? 4702 Mount Vernon? Oh, you have a sidewalk. Sorry. According to the city, that is to be treated differently than the rest of Skyview Estates, so you're gonna have to walk. Yeah, I know it dead ends into your neighbor's yard. I know it doesn't go anywhere, but call the city. Maybe they can explain it to you. I don't understand it either. I think we just need to use some common sense. How is this going to, how is this going to improve the way of life in Enid? How is this going to attract people to our city? When my husband and I decided to build a house, we looked in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Prices to build a home in Enid is about 20% higher than you can build the same home in Oklahoma City or Tulsa. Now we're gonna tack on another 5% or 2% or whatever it is, depending on the length of your frontage road. Mr. Slater has a very large frontage road, and he's estimating it's gonna be about $10,000. How is that gonna make Enid a better place? One more final question. How many of you have a sidewalk in your front yard where you live now? Do any of you?
I wish I did.
I wish I did, and I would not have a problem if it went more than 5 houses. But do you really think people are gonna jump up on that sidewalk for 5 houses, then jump back off? I don't understand the point. We have a wheat field behind us that's owned by the city of Enid that I understand is gonna be farmland for at least 7 more years and probably a retention pond at some point. So it's not like we're gonna expand the area. It's already built. We're just the last 12 houses.
I live in an old part of town, and where there are sidewalks piecemeal, and they get used for a block or 2 blocks. I use them walking with my kids. I see people walking all over, and when there's a block of sidewalk, it does get used. Now, that's not to say everybody will. It doesn't get used everywhere, but I think this is value for the community as a whole, and you know, unfortunately, we probably aren't going to agree on that. But I will say, at least in my neck of the woods, where there are a lot of people walking even back deep in the neighborhoods, you know, off the main roads, there's a block of sidewalk, they'll use it. My walk to school as a kid from my folks' house to Adams, there was no sidewalk, a block of sidewalk, no sidewalk, a block of sidewalk, and I got in a lot of trouble if I didn't use that sidewalk. My folks would drive up and look sometimes.
I used to live in Pheasant Run, and the construction wasn't finished. It still isn't, but some sidewalks were there. In the empty lots, there were no sidewalks. And we just had a kid. In every other house, it seemed like we'd go up on the sidewalk and go back down. And we used to joke about it. Because it didn't make any sense, but we did.
As a kid, you might, because it might be kind of fun. As a runner or a walker, you don't change your terrain. If you're out jogging, you're not gonna change your terrain. You're gonna just jog straight.
I wasn't a kid.
Oh,
That was just
okay.
a few years ago.
All right, sorry. Sorry. Do you have any
You're not that
questions for my husband or I?
I'm kind of a kid at heart, you know that.
Yeah, I know.
How many houses there right now have sidewalks?
2.
And that whole section?
The whole mile from Willow to Chestnut, there's 2, and it's Mr. Edwards and Mr. Simrod who were told they needed to put sidewalks.
And Simrod said he would.
He will tear, he told me he was gonna tear it up.
What did Clark say?
Clark said, I think you're wasting your time, but I think you should go for it so they'll see what an idiotic.
And is he gonna leave his sidewalk there to?
I'm guessing
make a
because he
point?
I think he's already sold his house. I think he's already sold his house, so, and like I said, he passed it. He told me it cost $7,000. He passed it on to the,
But we
Fire.
are talking about the 13 houses in that area, not
Talking about one.
a mile in each direction.
well, I'm saying those 13 houses will be the only houses
I understand that.
from Chestnut to Willow that have,
And there are
Yes.
only 2 that have sidewalks.
2 have them now.
Any other questions, comments? Would you read the motion again, please?
Someone else talking? Was there 2 people?
Is there anyone else signed up to talk about it?
No.
Yeah.
The other one was Jim Gilthorpe.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Today's the day, Jim. Please reread the
Parents' 36th anniversary today.
motion is to deny the variance. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 4-2. Item 7.4, review of the sign regulations for economic development opportunities located at Evans, 1106 and 1110 West Willow, and take appropriate action.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 8, under administration. Consider and take action with respect to an ordinance of the City of Enid, Oklahoma, relating to the imposition of 0.75% excise tax and a 0.25% excise tax, in addition to all present city, county, and state excise taxes to be levied upon the gross proceeds or gross receipts derived from all sales taxable under the Oklahoma Sales Tax Code, providing that said tax is to be used to fund capital expenditures pertaining to water system improvements related or incidental to the construction of a water transmission pipeline from Call Lake to Enid and related water treatment, storage, and distribution facilities, providing for the effective date and termination of said excise tax, providing for repealer, savings clause, severability, amendments, provisions cumulative, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Rodney. Further discussion, comments? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Now we need a motion for the emergency.
Why are we declaring an emergency on this?
Because our charter, Alan, do you want to help explain that for me? It has to be put into effect within 30 days.
Actually, the ordinance itself, it's not really that important in the sense that the ordinance is not going to be effective until the election, assuming the election passes. But we did put an emergency clause in the resolution in the sense that filing the resolution with the election board tomorrow. So I thought if we're going to have an emergency on one, we might as well have an emergency on both. But that was the.
Gotcha.
Motion for emergency.
Second.
Motion by Tammy, second by Rodney. Further discussion, please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 8.2, consider and take action with respect to a resolution authorizing the calling and holding of an election in the City of Enid, State of Oklahoma, for the purpose of submitting to the registered qualified electors of said city the question of approval or rejection of an ordinance of the city relating to a 0.75% excise tax and a 0.25% excise tax, in addition to all present city, county, and state excise taxes, and with said tax to be used to fund capital expenditures pertaining to water system improvements related or incidental to the construction of a water transmission pipeline from Call Lake to Enid and related water treatment, storage, and distribution facilities as more specifically set out in said ordinance of the city, declaring an emergency and containing other provisions relating thereto.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rodney, second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 8.3, emergency.
Motion for emergency.
Motion by Tammy, second by Aaron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 8.3, consider a resolution establishing the Call Lake Funding Oversight Committee and providing for appointment of members, duties and responsibilities, membership requirements, and terms.
Motion for approval.
Motion by Tammy.
Second.
Rodney. Further discussion. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 9, consent items.
Mayor, I'd like to pull item 9.12 and move to approve all other items.
We have a motion to pull item 9.12.
12. And approve all other items.
And approve all other items, okay. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0.
I'd like to move that we table item 9.12 until the next meeting to allow further analysis.
Second?
Motion by table, motion to table by Aaron, second by Ron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 10, award a contract to Luckinville Incorporated of Enid, Oklahoma in the amount of $35,280 for a Hoover splash pad, sanitary sewer improvement, project number S-1607, and authorize the mayor to execute all where'd I go?
Oh, that's one of the consent items.
I think you backed up an item or two.
Scroll down, scroll down.
No.
11, 10.
To go to.
We're on consent items.
It's the other number 10.
Item 10.
The other number 10, that's right.
Right here.
I don't have two item number 10s.
The consent items were all approved.
Whoop,
Yeah, there you go, down there.
We should be now.
somebody got real
Convening it.
fancy. Wasn't me.
There is two number 10s, it's on there.
Hey, I'm glad you caught that. Item 10. Whew,
Saves you a lot of reading if you don't read the consent items.
I was thinking about a drink of water, but I think I'm gonna pass. Item 10 should read recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item 11, five of us are present as trustees of the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting. Ben and David are absent. Item 12, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 12.1, approval of claims in the amount of $174,586.75.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Aaron,
Second.
second by Tammy. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 13, I'm going to get that out of the way. Adjourn to convene, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Five of the trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting are present. Ben and David are absent. Item 15, the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 15.1, approval of claims in the amount of $6,000.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ron,
Second.
second by Aaron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 16, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 17, all of the trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting are in attendance except for Ben and David. Item 18, the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 18.1, consider resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, ODOT, for a grant under the Federal Transit Administration's fiscal year 2016 Rides to Wellness Program.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Tammy, second by Rodney. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. We will now adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Under item 20, public comments.
We need to approve
Wait a
the
minute, you
claims.
didn't approve the claims.
Oh, you're right, I missed that. Item 18.2, approval of claims in the amount of $1,151.46.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Rodney,
Second.
second by Tammy. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Now we will adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Under item 20, public comments. There are 3 people signed up. Brian Carr. Your name and address, please, and please speak into the microphone.
Hello, I'm Brian Carr. I live at 2604 East Randolph. I'm here to let everybody know, I don't have no ill feelings about anybody on this panel. I just want y'all to know what's about to happen. We got a good old boy problem here. My complaints to the Attorney General and the Oklahoma Bar, and I received my letters back. This is what we sent to committees. I don't understand how these people can get away with what they done here because the feds had already been here on it, and I'm just telling them I'm fed up. And if they let these good old boys go, you're gonna have a problem here. It's driving a wedge between the race here in Enid, and this shouldn't be going on in 2016. You got the district attorney's office, and you got the Enid Police Department, and doing foul stuff, and trying to lock us blacks up for nothing, trying to tell us we can't live here. This is when we live out our lives and die, this is all still here, So why would these people act in this way? Because, they used to be back in the 1800s, and they think they can still act that way today. But things have changed. So basically, I got a call last night from Dallas. They just started a new committee where these white officers are killing young black men, and it's going national TV. And they asked me to come on TV and talk about what's going on here in Enid. I think Enid is a great place to live if this kind of behavior could be done away with. Like me and you, Mr. Mayor, we ain't never had no ill feelings between each other, but they brought ill feelings between us, And, I think you should have said something, but, I don't have friends like that. I don't have friends that'll go out and do something that I won't say nothing about it, but, we 2 different type of people. But all I'm saying is, y'all need to sit down and talk, and I'm the kind of person, all I want to do is live. And that's all I want to do is live out my life comfortably, what little I got left. And I want to settle this matter in-house. If you don't, once the feds come in and all these other committees that I don't know about and start asking questions, I want to know who's involved in it. I want to know who took that vote that I cannot live here and do business here. And all these are the ones that taking shots at me to lock me up. And that's Judge Woodward, Judge Michael, Kathy Stoker, all the big boys here. It's time for them to go. And all I'm saying is, I just want to live, and I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. When I die, they're going to bury me here. So why should I leave? So all I'm saying is, if y'all want to sell this in-house, we can. If you don't, suffer the consequences.
Next, Diane.
It's not a city issue, it's a county issue.
Hey, we can't discuss
I can
what,
ask the city attorney a question, yes, I can.
Diane Levesque, 1324 West Oak, and it happens that urban gentrification isn't an issue just in the city of Enid, but it is a nationwide problem and not confined to, say, a county issue, quote unquote. And the deal with the taxes coming up, there's a matter of not properly working with the EPS. I know that the same commissioner has the opinion that EPS should be completely separate from the concerns of the city commission government. And what I just heard about the sidewalks with regard to transportation, in my view, is a commission failure to work with EPS. Because here's another thing that could have done, and I've already discussed that with Gerald Gilbert, and that is in many urban environments other than this one, public transportation takes over for city school buses. Because when you're adding school buses to traffic downtown, you're adding to congestion, you're adding to the tonnage on the roads with greater frequency, and that ultimately comes down to a city cost in upkeep on roads, wear and tear. So if you combine your interests in transportation with public transportation, you have a win-win situation that saves both EPS and the city money. What I wanted to come to talk about was the matter of a piece of property right across from Terra Estates. It's leased by Singer Oil. It's called the Lee Major No. 1 Pump Station, or whatever they call it. Lee Major's No. 1, anyway. On that property is growing some antelope horn milkweed. I tried to contact the oil company to see if they could, if they're maintaining the property, at least try not to cut down the milkweeds because monarchs are an endangered species. And they told me, and this really floored me, they lease the land off the landowner, and it's usually the case that the person who leases the land also does the mowing and otherwise upkeep, but they tell me that it's the property owner that does that, and he's been cutting down the milkweeds. I don't know how to contact the owner. Singer Oil didn't give me the owner's name. And darn, it's freezing in here. If you want to cut costs on something, you can at least keep this area from being like a walk-in refrigerator. I mean, it's been like this since February, for crying out loud.
That we agree on.
Yeah.
Amen. Because it's cold.
Anyway, where was I? My teeth are chattering. I'm sorry. Another big surprise to me that I wanted to bring to the city's attention was the conversation I had with Mr. Gilbert about the issue of why ETN schedule is no longer being published in the paper. I thought I heard him tell me that's because Jeff, he said, he just gave a first name, Jeff, said that it was the paper's decision to not publish TV listings because nobody was interested in that information. And I know that they put out every Saturday a TV scheduling supplement. So I said, well, nobody's interested in ETN, and that's according to the newspaper's owner. And he kind of hedged about that. I had to point out to him that there was still a TV supplement in there. And then a few days after that, the newspaper ran as if it was news that ETN was interviewing 4 governors. The headline didn't say that 3 of those were defunct governors, but 4 governors. So apparently Jeff Funk has determined that this is one thing on ETN that the public is interested in. So it seems to me he's operating as a gatekeeper of information in that regards. So if you're regarding ETN as somehow being a promotion for the city and it's not even making the newspaper except for one article, you might want to rethink that.
Well, I just have a couple comments and we can move on, Mayor. I've only had one person in the city of Enid ever talk to me about the ETN schedule in the newspaper, and that's Diane. The newspaper made a decision not to run it anymore. And, I think that the show you're referring to about the 4 governors I thought was exceptional. And one of them is our current governor of the state of Oklahoma, Mary Fallin. So I think it was appropriate. And thank you for your comments.
Is that schedule posted somewhere else?
Steve, where is the schedule for programming? Ed, is it on enidtv.org? Yes.
That was part of the advisory board's recommendation to have an online version of the TV guide.
Next person signed up is Lawrence, is it Clark?
We might want to.
We need your name and your address. We need your name and address, please.
Clark Builders.
And your address?
I guess it'd be 805 and a half East Cherry, Enid, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm building a house remodeling, 602 North 19th and Oak. I'm very dissatisfied with the inspections that I'm getting. I paid $48, and I get a bunch of trash and instructions. Right now, Stan Locke is holding me. I put in some nice new windows to match the north side of my house, and he tells me to pull them and get bigger. There's no bigger window of any kind in the code administration, and it says that I have to pull them. That's just one comment. Now, there's a bulge in the basement wall. I have patched it, and he's holding me on both those, and I'm tired of the way they're doing me. I want to be turned loose and let me go. I've been in business since 1952, and I've never been so disrespectful to these people here that deal with me now. And I've got evidence of an addition here that I left Enid in 1971, and I've got 25 houses that I developed myself. And these people don't act like that. I know what I don't do. I'm tired of their inspections. I want to be turned loose on that property. I've already built it different, and I plan to build it just like I want to. But they're butting into my business, and I don't appreciate it. That's it.
Sir, I will get your phone number afterwards, and I don't know anything about the specifics, but I know Angela will fill me in, and I'll give you I'll give you a call later this week to discuss your situation.
Who are you?
I'm the city manager. I'm someone that can help.
I want to be turned loose and let me build my house the way I want it. I want them building inspectors to get away from me because they don't know bean from bull.
All right.
I do.
Item 21. Consider convening into executive session pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307B3 to discuss the purchase of real property and pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307C10 to discuss matters pertaining to economic development because an executive session is necessary to protect the confidentiality of business and to reconvene into regular session to take any necessary action.
To adjourn. Or not, I'm sorry, not adjourn. Go to.
We're going to convene into executive session, yes.
You've already said.
Motion by Aaron, second by Rodney. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you for joining us for the Enid City Commission meeting. If you have any questions or comments, visit our website at enid.org.